and gentlemen, it is me, Dukect Live, coming to you on TalkShoe.com on the Dukect Lounge. And first off, just shout out to 3 Black Geeks. Seriously, these guys rock. Listen to them on iTunes. Link in the description. If you want to listen to some cool guys talking about anime and all the stuff, listen to them. They're really cool. The reason why I had to get a shout out, they gave me a shout out first. So thanks, you guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully my ramblings entertain, or at least some people do like it. So anyway, go watch their, listen to their stuff. They're funny, they're exciting. And if you haven't watched the show, it's hilarious just to listen to them for an hour. Doing everything. That's what I usually do. I listen to them when I'm, doing writing the script or just, relaxing and surfing the web. I just listen to them. They're great. They're awesome. Check these guys out. They're awesome. Link to their stuff and their YouTube channel. Really good stuff there too. So, there you go. Completed shout out. Okay, let's get this thing on the way and started talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yeah. By the way, before I get into this, God, the Vol villains are awesome, aren't they? Oh, we got JWO Jakorski live here on the chat room. Hopefully, you are going to be here for a while. Anyway, we're going to be talking a little about Ring of Honor, ladies and gentlemen. Ring of Honor, pro wrestling, what have you. First things first. By the way, the little intro I did was for the VOD villains. Like that stuff. Maybe I could share that video to Tiger or something like that. Other guys I know. Maybe I'll get back into wrestling, at least into NXT. Lord knows I need more people watching. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Ring of Honor's first live pay-per-view. The first pay-per-view in, honestly, since I think 2009 or 10 or something, these Ring of Honor, this group, has done a pay-per-view, for the pay-per-view and such. This thing. And honestly, I like this. I am honestly I hope it's successful. I will get more in depth of this pay-per-view because I am going to do a review of it. When the DVD comes out, I'm going to do a review of it. I'm going to try to do an indie marathon with Ring of Honor, Shikara, New Japan, Dragon's Gate, or whatever. Maybe I'll put CZW in there if people want to go see that. If it's going to be in the summer, if not later in the fall. If everything goes according to plan, which I'm having, even though what's going on, me and Blip and Big and I will still try to do this stuff, people. If I can see if I get it on YouTube. If not, I'll put it on Zipcast and RiseToTheCritics.com, where you can find not only this, but you'll find, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you'll see more videos. My videos will be exclusively on Zipcast and RiseToCritics.com, both the Dukect Lounge and Last Reviewer Standing. Okay, getting out of the way, I will be doing Ring of Honor Best in the World as a full-on review. Overall, I'm going to give it a short take. It was a good pay-per-view. Not great, but good. I honestly think Tommy thinks it should have a great pay-per-view. I think if it was, this is something I really think it was, it's something I really thought this was a show that could have been, there's some things I think it could have done a lot better. I think there is something that, I really thought that this whole, it looked a little bit indorific and such. Because when you make your when TNA, Total Nonstop Action gets a lot of crap for its screwy finishes, and Lord knows I made them. I made them. Everybody on YouTube made them. Everybody from Shadow Daddy to Deluxe Man to Fool Killer 99. Everybody who's anybody who has done YouTubes and everything else, who's serious about wrestling or anything like that, has looked and looked at TNA and the stupid false finishes and said, "My God, that was just hot garbage." and more often than not it was. But, yeah, it was really reminding me, the main event finish through a world title match felt there was a lot of things wrong here. I expected there was going to be something from, from the appearance and such as the Adam Cole versus Michael Elgin or the Ring of Honor World title, which, by the way, the Ring of Honor World title looks 10 times better than WWE one. Seriously. How does the indie or smaller companies have better championships than the main company? Seriously, guys. WWE, step your game up, please. That's all I ask. Or if they really want me to be happy, just get rid of that belt entirely. Get rid of the WWE title. Just have the World Heavyweight title belt. I'd be happy with that. But that's just my little thing. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. The main event finish. The main event finish, ladies and gentlemen. We had Matt Hardy and Matt Bennett, the two guys associated with him, with Adam Cole, come out. This, that, yeah, that, came in, did the little, try to stop him, and Michael Elgin just, take him out, basically trying to do the John Cena stuff. Then they had Adam Cole take him out. Then he had to do that 20-second count, and he had to jump back in, remind me of the John Cena time. He was locked out, and then he just ran up and then 8, 9, whoop, he's back in, and then just it just felt like jump back in. Then he had his Miss Chef. I remember her from Indie. I think they were related, her and Michael Elgin are related, like, romantically. They're fiancé, married, I don't know. And then Miss Chef comes out, takes out Maria from WWE fame. I should have structured better. She came out, tried to distract Elgin, but yet she hits the green mist, and Michael Elgin comes in, uses the finisher, hits it, bam! Another one, bam! And hits him with that huge finisher, and 1, 2, kick out. I was like, and then they had the streamers, and you had the crowds chanting, "We fucked up." No, it was funny, but I'm like, no, Ring of Honor fucked up. I looked at this was a terrible finish. That was right out there, and this is, and the term indie-rific type finish, you ever heard that term? I think that applies right there to the main event. I'm sorry. It was a really good main event. I thought Michael Elgin really impressed me. I thought he was really good. I don't care what the haters. I'm serious. I have no idea why people hate Michael Elgin as a wrestler. I just don't get it. Maybe if you don't like the style, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't do any flips. I did that. Maybe that is. That old stereotype of indie wrestling fans liking guys who just do some good moves. Like, until Adam Cole, which, by the way, Adam Cole is a piss-poor heel. He can do all the evil things he wants, but the crowd is still cheering for him. That's just, I don't like that. Serious, I just don't like that. If you are a villain, you need to be portrayed as such. You don't need to be all people like you or whatever. You need people to disgust you. You need people to hate you naturally. Don't do things like over the top, like, oh, he's doing more evil things. Yeah, he's not, but yeah, he has to do evil things. To the point that it's just becoming parody. It's like Kurt Angle when trying to go and heel against John Cena. Just doesn't fit right. There's a lot of stuff that I don't get more into it when I did the review, but let me tell you this. It's just really disconcerting. Well, for example, Roderick Strong gets 70-80% cheers in Ring of Honor. To me, if you're getting 70-80%, you're a face. That to me, that says that, yeah, you got majority of cheers, you're a face. And by the way, I like Roderick Strong. I think he's awesome. People in Indy side don't hate me, something like that. But jeez Louise, his mic skills are just horrible. He's probably one of the worst guys on the microphone I've ever heard. But believe me, I've heard a ton of 25 plus years of being a pro wrestling fan. I heard the good, the bad, and oh yeah, he's the ugly. I honestly say this, and every time I talk about Roderick Strong, I will continue to say this. If there was ever time for someone to get a mute gimmick, guy who just can't talk, or just wrestle legitimately can't talk, and someone else talk for him, it's Roderick Strong. His wrestling ideas are sound. Everything is good, but the mic skills, oh Lord, woo! I mean, while he was champion, I remember him just talking out against Jay Briscoe. He went in the selling countryman. I'm like, oh my goodness. I should link that video. If I can find it, I will put a link down to the description. I got a ton of crap in the description. And you will see this. You're like, oh my, this guy. And I want to see anything new. I was like, I can't take this guy seriously. I mean, his wrestling style is good, but I can never take him seriously as a champion. I'm like, nope, I'm sorry. No, seriously. No, no, I can't. And trust me, we could do anything with, but good Lord, this guy just, oh God, he is horrible on the mic. And the crazy thing is, supposedly he went to WWE's training facility down, I think, in Florida, and the WWE graded him as one of the best guys with mic skills. Keep in mind, one of those other tryout people who tried out down there was Kevin Steen, who blows Roderick Strong, honestly, at every type of feasible character, wrestling, and quite honestly, better mic skills. And look to Kevin Steen, maybe because he's Pagiano, but look at Roderick Strong's mic skills and say, oh, that was good. Like, have you listened to him? I mean, have anyone, seriously, tell me I'm wrong. Please, if he's improved, tell me. I just don't see it. He is horrible. This dude's just garbage on the mic. Just plain garbage. Ugh. Anyway, back to the plain point. Yeah. When the finish was supposed to be back to the main event, when everything seemed right, I mean, Monica Elgin was about to destroy him. Everything else was great. And Adam Cole kicked out. The streamers are out. And I'm like, that's why I looked down. I was like, man, this is why Ring of Honor will never get over itself. It doesn't know when to finish. They have a high spot. They have everything perfect. The crowd's into it. Everything's into it. They got everything clicking. And then they just continue going. I mean, that was the end beat. That was it. You don't set up you do not keep going after the high note. That's the high note. You leave after the high note. You don't drag and meander after that. And that's what the match did. They dragged and meandered. And I was like, if Adam Cole wins this, I'm like, you know what? I would have said this has been, I would have been just said, I'm not watching Ring of Honor. But heck, after what happened, even though Mike Elgin won, I'm still questioning why should I watch Ring of Honor? Because if that's going to be the main event finishes, I'm going to be really questioning, saying, am I going to watch? It's going to be all the main events where you have a high note, you don't finish it off. It is. It's just this drag and such. It is depressing. It's just really depressing. It's just, even though, Adam Cole's talented, I just think that, and Michael Elgin, I think is great. I think they deserved a better finish. They both deserved a better match ending than this. And I'm hopeful somebody's gotten the mindset of someone who's booking or anything, whoever is booking, Delirious, Kelly Silken, whoever, if they'll listen to this, as someone who wants to continually buy your product, Ring of Honor, with the money, I want a good company. I want, when you have a high note, you nail it. You don't drag it out for 15 minutes. Try to hit some arbitrary time limit, like 3 or 4 hours for a pay-per-view. It's just, I can't, it is. And I just really was angry at that point. I was just really angry with all of that, and I just can't. I'm just really, really. No, really, I just look at this and I'm just really angry about that, man. I'm just really, really, really just angry about that. Also, another thing that came from me for this pay-per-view is that some things that certain other people, some high YouTubers said about this show. Oh, that was pretty positive, but there was interesting stuff. You remember doing from Bill and Doug? Bill and Doug used to be guys who been on Twitter and they went on YouTube and they praised TNA. In fact, they got jobs worked with TNA, and I honestly respected that. I was like, and I'm impressed by that. That I was always like that, and this was early in the YouTube wrestling community. It was early, but to me, that showed what I really liked about what this thing was, is that people who are fans who really cared about something, and to have companies say, hey, we want to use you. That was pretty cool. And I'm going to be honest, I'm really cool and I respect that for. But, they respect TNA. They bashed everything else. I mean, Bull Killer may have said some things, was real pro TNA at times, but I think he has that same measure of respect. When TNA does something stupid, he calls them out on it, which I agree, and I am honestly happy that when he does call them out on it, it's something that I'm like, that's good. I'm like, oh, but Bill Doug really never, when TNA employed, they never really did that. They never really got it. Until then they left, and they just completely shit canned. They just completely just say, up you TNA, and buried them. Some of the not. It's like they're a little bit sour grapes. I don't know. Maybe it is. But moving on, they went on to UFC. They did that. I don't think they do YouTube videos anymore. They don't do YouTube videos anymore. They hang out mostly on Twitter, and that's cool, But the Lax Man, and said, he's watching it, and he said this. He's watching it, but he didn't pay for it. And he just said, "Oh, you horrible human being! How can you?" Doug basically said, "How dare you?" Just says, "How dare you?" I'm paraphrasing, and he says, "How dare you? How do you not this?" And honestly, I do see that point. Like, how dare you pirate something like this? And I look at this and something that people seem to really, I'm not pro piracy or anything like that. Is that I'm going to say this right now? Ring of Honor, as much as it is different and good or what have you, hasn't had a lot of people to prove. They had a lot of people to prove they're still good and still awesome. One of the things that Ring of Honor once upon a time had internet pay-per-views, and when they had internet pay-per-views, they didn't do so well. They did well, but they didn't do too well. They have production values, screw-ups. They had this, that, and the other. A lot of people who just did not like the shows at all. They didn't like, oh my gosh, they weren't Ring of Honor. They couldn't see it. They didn't see it. It wasn't there, and a lot of people were pissed off at it. And I agree. I would be pissed. I'd be pissed off, and I was one of those customers too, who watched Ring of Honor and the pay-per-views. I enjoyed some of them, but then the production values weren't so good, and then they left. And hell, when they looked at, say, the Jim Cornette shoots, which I own one of them, and I'm just like, wow, Jim Cornette did not Jim Cornette did not spare any words. He went after them, and I'm like, oh yeah, he went after some. Holy crap, he went after some. Some of those guys from Ring of Honor. He went after King, but most often than not, he went after Ring of Honor, which was a bit like, holy crap, he went after Ring of Honor. Whoa. And, and then you have Ring of Honor, a lot of people just saying, screw this company does not know what they're doing, and they left. Sure, it's hot now with AJ Styles coming to them and New Japan doing all these deals, but a lot of people need to be convinced and, are still hesitant. And honestly, I don't hate the fact that some people did stream the show because they are trying to test the waters. And $25, let's be honest here. Some people, $25 in it. But no, some people are like, you know what? With the W Network saying I can get their pay-per-views for $10, when their major start with the WWE sells $10 a month. $10 a month. That's a lot of money. And you can save a lot of money, get a lot of content, plus a pay-per-view on top of that as well. What does Ring of Honor do, with a $25 price point? And that's really, heck, that's a lot. Hell, their internet pay-per-views cost $15. And I asked them, why the $10 increase? And there was $35 for HD. And I'm like, I can see why someone would illegally stream this because they're like, I don't trust Ring of Honor to do that. I don't trust Ring of Honor enough to do this. Or even if they do well, I want to see the next reviews in September. I will put money in. The last man, I think he already made a video about this, saying, yeah, I will put money if I have enough for a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. We don't know what their financial struggle is. Like, look at $25. That's saying, hey, someone's meal, someone's this, that, like meal, gas, or what have you. And even who I enjoyed the show by ordering it by pay-per-view, I can see why, because $25 on basically, I'm going to be straight up with you, $25 on a pay-per-view company that doesn't really make much weight. It's not as big as people might think it is. It's not. Ring of Honor is real. It's the niche of the niche of the niche. And $25. To me, if it was $15, I'm like, that's the thing. That $10 difference. We're better up here because and again, Ring of Honor is a niche product of the niche product. And the most well-known guy on that roster, on that card of the entire thing, let's be honest, the most well-known guy on that card is Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is the only guy who's the most well-known person here. And will people pay $25 to see him on these new guys they might have heard or seen before? That's a lot of money. And people will say $25 is just too high for people. They're like, it's something like, I might watch for $25, they just can't look and say, what, for a product they just don't watch. A, they don't watch, and B, they don't have it. It's not part of syndication, or they can't find time to do it. Yes, I know you can watch these TV shows online, but it's like, what? Some people don't have time for that, man. Like, why do they have to go out of their way to watch something like, say, if Ring of Honor is so big and popular, it should be on network television all over the country, but they're not. It's just, but yeah, people want this to succeed, but $25, $35 is just too much for people to order. It's just too much. It's sad, but that's who it is. Some people don't. And that's what it is. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, as for someone pirating, I can see the sympathy for it. And you want to support the company too. Ring of Honor is a very small company, a very niche company. That is what it is. I don't know. And the solution to this problem is probably maybe a little bit of price. Like, say, for example, make it $15 and people would go up in there. People are like, hey, I will buy it. But hey, some people don't know about the Ustream link. Then people are like, well, I can't order this pay-per-view because it's not available in my country. I know they have the Ustream thing, but that's $25 too. But they're like, you know what? I can't afford that right now. I'm too busy. I can't do anything else. $15? They say, yeah, I would afford it. $15, I think a lot of people will afford it. Hell, I can afford $15 for an internet pay-per-view. $25, that's a lot. That's a bridge of trust. And even though that was a very good show, and some might say a great show, some people say maybe a groundbreaking show. Sometimes, you have to look and say that bill, like $25. That's a lot of trust in a company. We've been burned for a lot of times, but I just don't think a lot of people will get that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if Bill Doug listen to this, they'll probably say something stupid, but you know what? That's what I say. I did enjoy the show overall, but that's just my rambling. And yeah, because I spent over 30 minutes about talking about this stuff. This show is going to be fun. Anyway, I'm going to be taking a small little break, and we'll be right back. We'll be talking about the WWE's Glass Ceiling and also previewing WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. We'll be right back right after this. This is Dukect Lounge live on the TalkShoe.com. Thank you for joining me, Dukect. Hey! Here in the Dukect Lounge. Phone number, as always, is 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444. And the call did connect to me. Dukect is 92417. Once again, the call is 92417. Also, J.W. Jakowski is off the building. Sad. But anyway, hopefully you enjoy this time here in the Dukect Lounge. Remember, chat rooms on lock and all that good stuff. We will still be live and everything else here on the Talk Show. Remember, you can catch this show live on YouTube. It'll be on Zipcast, YouTube, Screw Attack, Rise of the Critics, That Guy with Glasses forums, RVT, community forums, wherever I can spread this thing, I will continue to spread it. All right. Let's talk a little WWE, shall we? Before we get into the preview of Money in the Bank and all that good stuff, we're going to talk about Kurt Hawkins. I talked on the last podcast, but there was a interesting little podcast. Let's see. Yes, Live Action Wrestling, law podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, very interesting little interview took place with Kurt Hawkins. And it's something right here. He talked about this on the rise and fall of one of his good friends, Zack Ryder. I'll put the link in the description. It's on. Also, I found this on the freaking Awesome Network forums. Link will be in the description as well. All right, here it is, the quote. And I quote. I love that. I don't care what anyone says. I miss Phil Cole. Okay. The worst part. Okay, this is Kurt Hawkins from the Law Podcast, by the way. Talking about the rise and fall of Zack Ryder. The worst part of that whole thing is that it really kind of broke the spirit of the locker room. For years, we were told in all these pep talks that there's a brass ring. You got to reach for it. And it's there for the taking if you work hard enough and get yourself over. And he did it. He defied the odds. And it actually does it. And all the boys are rooting for Zack Ryder. Like, oh, wow, this is cool as shit. This has never been done before. He got over without the office, without TV time. Again, Zack Ryder, the woo and Long Island IZ, all that type of stuff. You know, he has a nice little, remember, he did the, the YouTube web series, True Hollywood, True Long Island Story, which was surprising, which was funny, and I liked it. I was one of the few people who watched the show, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, he did it. Zack Ryder got over without TV time. Anyway, Kurt Hawkins talks continues. Let's continue on. It was pretty mind blowing. And then they just crushed it and take it all away from him. To me, I thought the example that set for the rest of the boys was pretty brutal, because then it's like it almost feels hopeless. It's like you're not going to get pushed unless they pick you to get pushed, and that's kind of it. I thought above all, the message they sent to the boys was the worst part. They crushed the spirits of a lot of people. Like, okay, so my hard work here is going to pay off, huh? And that's, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to fluff up his friend, saying it was a real tragedy, or maybe, I don't know what really happened, but it's just amazing how this thing happened to Zack Ryder. And not only Zack Ryder, but a lot of guys. Kofi Kingston, Dolph Ziggler. And one of the biggest things I wanted to go and smack the WWE's creative, or most importantly, Vince, was Ryback. Dude had the entire crowd, like the hard camera shaking. When's the last time we saw the hard camera shake? I know Daniel Bryan might have done some of that, but I don't think even Daniel Bryan had made the hard camera shake. Ryback made the hard camera shake. People were chanting. They still had the little Goldberg stuff, but you know what? They said, "Feed me more. Feed me more." Dude was on fire. And they completely pissed on him. Same as Zack Ryder and everything. It's amazing how a company this big, this completely big, would just completely destroy town. Look where they are right now. Look where Zack Ryder is right now. Could have been like someone like that. You know what? It could have been someone like Nick Santino, someone silly, became a nice in the Continental U.S. Championship, that sort of thing. It's sad that all these guys that could be at least somewhat functional, these guys could be at least those back pillars, those backup guys, just in case things go wrong. And believe me, right now they're looking, now, which the money, which I'm getting to later, WWE's in this whole screw position. When you look back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, the guys like, remember, Jake Roberts, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Macho Man, Roddy Piper, all this stuff. They were, you had the main guys. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior and such. But you also had other guys, too, like Jake Roberts, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Roddy Piper, guys who were truly like, yeah, you know what, just in case you could feed the niche and put them in the main event spot or put them in the mix. People cared about them. Hell, the Buster Line's attitude there. Everyone loved, hated it. But you know what? Rikishi got more open to her cheer spots than most of the guys, 90% of the guys in that locker room today. Rikishi, Crash Holly, PG Cash Holly, Too Cool. The list goes on and on. Like all those mid-card guys. D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown was more over back in the 90s than anyone else here. But then says anybody right now. He was more over in the 90s than most guys here right now. And it's sad. It is completely sad that how this thing happened. And with Ryder, it doesn't make any sense. I honestly don't know why Kane got Orton in WrestleMania. They can't easily put Orton in a Money in the Bank match. I know Barrett was supposed to win it, but you know what? Scrap that. Barrett gets seriously, no one really liked Barrett back in that day anyway. He was heatless. Give the guys out there, hell, put Kofi Kingston in that spot. You had that better. But what about that huge Raw SmackDown? Hell, I already laid out the plan for my other reviews. But if you haven't, here's a refresher. Here's what I would have had. Switch at WrestleMania 28, I believe. I would have had, majority of those guys, I'd say, in that whole 5-man stuff, I would have took them all, most of them, and put them in the Money in the Bank match. And as for the Raw general managers of Raw and SmackDown, easy. The two assistants, make it a tag match, or what have you. Make it a tag match. As Big Johnny and Theodore, along with their assistants, Santino and Otunga. That sort of thing. And as for Kane, have him face Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder gets first out. Get Zack Ryder a surprise victory. It could be a good match or a bad match or whatever, but hey, Kane gets, he gets the victory, he gets his moment. A WrestleMania, a very good WrestleMania moment instead of him getting kicked in the balls. I just don't understand this. And it's frustrating because everyone says, "Oh, they can just say no." Someone needs to tell them to say no. And by the way, it's just again, it's I think I'll put the link here. Also, Hick from the forum just really crystallized it why none of these guys can say no. Right here, it's just perfect here. Responding to this comment from Mason Carter, says this: the thing about Ryder is that it's pretty much everyone else's fault. WWE manager did screw him over, but Ryder wasn't doing himself any favors by not doing something to evolve his character in that time frame. It was the same tired stick every time he was on the screen. And here's the thing: Ryder can't say no. Look what he talked about Bryan recently and how he feels Bryan goes with the flow of management and booking too often for his own good in order to be a model employee. Same goes for Ryder. Same goes for a lot of the roster. There can be a time and place for wrestlers to say that idea sucks, I'm not doing it. But too often they don't. And when the one does speak up, they get off the seat or they're too A-list to touch. If more of them called out the booking BS often and forced some change, it would benefit everyone, the wrestlers, management, and the fans. I'm not talking Hogan level creative control, but just some common sense refusal to do stupid stuff. Okay, hypothetically, Ryder does that and he's taken off TV. What happens when Ryder, Sandow, Ziggler, Miz, and at least half of the Divas, Big Show, etc., start doing that? They're going to take them all off the air? And here goes the perfect response to this right here. Cost-benefit analysis. They probably ask themselves if it's worth advertising the carnies who run the WWE and a slim hope that they might be given better material to work with, or simply keep their mouths shut, just through the hoops. One more time. Cost-benefit analysis. They probably ask themselves if it's worth antagonizing the carnies who run the WWE in the slim hope that they might be given better material to work with, or simply keep their mouths shut, jump through the hoops, the piss, shit, vomit-obsessed old man who runs the company places in front of them to collect their paychecks. And right there, that's the problem right there. And the thing is, there's nowhere else to go. Don't give me TNA, don't give me Ring of Honor, don't give me any of that. Don't give me that. No, I ain't got time for that shit. I ain't got time for it. There is nowhere else for these guys to go. And they're stuck doing this medieval, just crappy, horrible jobs. Horrible jobs. And it's just, you can't win. You're stuck there, being completely played by marionettes by Vince man who has no idea what the hell is up in the next in these years. I am amazed at how bad Vince McMahon has just destroyed its own product. It's amazing. Downright just criminal what he has done to the WWE. and people say he's a genius. They say Vince is a genius, man. And I don't see. I mean, he once was once upon a time. But WCW or all their territories were breathing down his neck. He was a genius. Now he has a monopoly. Now he can do whatever he wants. Instead, it's the same old crap. There's a reason why no one likes wrestling. There's a reason why, Vince, that you didn't get the major deal, that money, that huge paycheck that you expected with new TV deals, while other companies, while other sports like NASCAR and soccer can't even touch your ratings. You are on the top of the country. Soccer, which in this country means nothing. We all like a World Cup, but no one gives a damn about soccer or football here in the United States. NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR was good for a while, but that thing, ratings dropped like a stone. And they still got better deals than you, Vince. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, Vince? It ain't the wrestlers' fault. It ain't all the production pros' fault. And it damn sure ain't the fans' fault. It's creative and guys like you and executives meddling the board. The same shit that was down with WCW. That's what happened. This is what's happening right now. The same crap was going on in the what happened to WCW is happening with the WWE. 3-hour made a show with Raw with 3 hours with the same crap, reruns, guys you don't really care about, to the mid-card. The mid-card means nothing. And the rest of the show, I mean, a women's division, which, by the way, this is why I hate the WWE. One of the main reasons. The NXT treats their minor leagues. You had NXT TakeOver. You had Ric Flair and her daughter, I think. Bret Hart and they're like daughters or something. Fight for the NXT Women's Championship. A championship belt, which, by the way, has more prestige than the Divas title right now. Be held by a really good champion, Paige, who was a good NXT champion, but as a Divas champion, she's completely utter garbage. She's terrible. She's Gail Kim 2.0. It ain't her fault. Book it. NXT, which everything else needs to be perfect at NXT. Meanwhile, WWE, they don't know what the hell they're doing with it. It's a damn shame. A real damn shame. Because I, as a fan, want this company to gain. I want the WWE to be good. But it's this stupid booking. This myopic, stupid, bigoted, sexist, racist type booking. Yeah, I said it, racist. I mean, let's be honest. You have you have a Bulgarian trying to be Russian, trying so hard to bring up Rocky IV, which, by the way, here's the thing about Rocky IV, Vince, that you seem to forget. Maybe it was a little too subtle for you. I know I'm not the smartest guy. Well, I picked this up when it was. The thing about Russia was basically an underdog story. It had nationalities, but at the end of the day, guess what he did? Rocky won over the Russian crowd by his own grit and determination. That was it. It wasn't America, wasn't anything else. And I know it was preachy and all the nostalgic didn't like it. It's like, oh, you could change and everyone changed. It was a nice little message there. A nice message of saying that it wasn't followers and such, that we could be better, we could do this stuff. But they seems to forget about that. That little forget, like it wasn't America dominating and everything else. It was someone like that, but it was also about, being together, saying, yeah, we can unite with something, even though we have different politics, even though we have different type of ideologies and such, we can still find common ground. But no, they're just trying to get a gimmick and such. By the way, making Big E just trying this preacher character, which, by the way, sucks, by the way. But also having black guys lose majority of the match. Since when's the last serious black guy? A young black guy, by the way, Booker T, who was already made in WCW, first off. And King Booker was fun. But Mark Henry, who was nice to run, I actually liked his other House of Pain as a whole pain, but there's other guys. I mean, I still think someone like Big E could be really good. I think he has some good power moves, but when you stick with this stuff like this, you have him doing nothingness for the Intercontinental Championship. You have him, doing this stupid preacher gimmick. By the way, you get rid of JTG, who's done nothing for you, which I love that. You have JTG, done nothing for him. Even though, why can't you let him do anything? I don't know, because he complains on Twitter. You'll job him out on Raw. That sadly is the only way he can actually get a match on Raw. Sad, man. Also, which and the funny thing is, another one is, how about Xavier Woods? Has he ever won a match? I'm serious. When's the last time he's won a match? Someone who is a young he's trying to get his PhD, which is something you should be touting, by the way. You say he's losing to guys who honestly have little to no future, who look like crap, like in NXT. This bull, what's his name? Seriously. Why? I thought when Xavier was with the WWE, I thought his talent would be showcased. Not this. Hell, maybe he should go back to TNA. Maybe he'll get some more showcase and join MPV's club. What have you. At least they'll be well booked. At least he'll look like a damn threat. I'm very passionate about this. It bothers me, people. It really does, and it has been a long show. 51 minutes, by God. I mean, this is actually it's actually a real long podcast, says it's 30 minutes. Hopefully you guys don't mind it. Not, I'll keep it short. But yeah, I really have a lot of stuff to say. Whew, boys and girls, it's going to be a long one. Anyway, we'll be right back right after this one. We'll be previewing WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. We'll be right back right after this, live here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me, Duke CT. We'll be right back right after this. Number, as always, is 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444. Yeah, number 724-444-7444. Call in connect with me, DCT is 92417. Once again, call in is 92417. Now, well, let's look at the WWE's Money in the Bank. Well, ladies and gentlemen, This is going to be a very interesting one, people. A very interesting little tidbits here. Let's look at the pre-show. It's going to have Daniel Bryan speaking to the WWE Universe, which is nice. That's good. No word stuff. That's nice. But honestly, I just going to be a promo segment. It's going to have Vince and, nothing but Triple H and Stephanie saying B plus prayer stuff. And honestly, I don't really care about that. So I'm just going to skip it. Well, first up, let's talk about Big E. So let's talk about Big E. We'll take on the Preacher Big E. We'll take on Rusev. Even though they faced before, and Rusev won in that squad and basically a 3-minute match. One thing notable was the spear that Big E had against Rusev. I don't really care for this match. I don't really care. This match, I'll have Rusev win. Big E's not going to win here. I just don't care about this at all. Rusev wins. Rusev will smash Big E again. Next up is Summer Rae versus Layla with Fandango as the special guest referee. Still don't care about this feud at all. I don't care. Just don't care at all. Summer Rae, I think. Yeah, I don't. Divas match, title match, Paige versus Naomi. Paige wins thanks to Cameron's heel stuff, or she distracts Naomi or what have you, and thus breaks up the Funkadactyls. In that place, she should replace Cameron, and no one will ever know or care. Next up is Stardust and Goldust taking on Ryback. Yeah, I don't care. So all these matches here seem just like regular Monday Night Raw matches. I just don't care. Stardust and Goldust win, and Ryback will continue to be irrelevant. WWE Tag Team Championship match. The Usos, who finally get a tag team title match on a pay-per-view. I mean, last time they were on a pay-per-view, an actual pay-per-view event was at WWE's Elimination Chamber way back in February. And let's see, and they lost against the New Age Outlaws, or the Old Age Outlaws, what I like to call. But they beat the New Age Outlaws with the tag belts and hold them on to very since, and pretty much forget no one really cares about them. As they take on the Wyatt family, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Wyatt family wins here. And, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Next, we have the WWE Money in the Bank ladder match. As we have Kofi Kingston versus Rob Van Dam, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose versus Bad News Barrett, who may have not been there thanks to injury calls on SmackDown. His shoulders separated. Is he going to be a part of the match? Will he give up the Intercontinental title? I don't know, and hopefully he does because it's been really good so far. Who knows? But if they go into that, who they're going to replace him with? Some say they might replace him with Bo Dallas. I don't know. It's something interesting. But and Jack Swagger, the guy who injured Bad News Barrett. Interesting stuff here. Very, very interesting indeed. So, yes. Just have a bit of a gummy bear, that's all. Honestly, I think Dean Ambrose wins. I don't know, maybe Seth Rollins, because I know Kofi's not going to win. He's been in Money in the Bank, and he never wins. So it's going to be Dean Ambrose winning. And as your main event, you have the World Heavyweight Championship, WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, as Sheamus, U.S. champion, takes on Alberto Del Rio versus the man, the king of swing, Cesaro, versus Roman Reigns, versus John Cena, versus the Viper, Randy Orton, and the malicious Pied Piper, Bray Wyatt. And what the people I want to win is Bray Wyatt, but I think we all know who is going to win, John Cena. I think the match will be pretty good. It will be match of the night. I really, and by the way, Kane's in there too. So why Kane, I don't know, and I don't care. I hate Kane. I don't like him. He should retire. He's 48 years old. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. I don't care. Just, no more Kane. I can't take it. So, yeah. It's WWE Money in the Bank. I hope it's a good show. I want it to be a good show. But who knows? Who knows? The only two good stuff here is going to be the Money in the Bank matches, and that's it. Everything else here seems just filler. A majority filler card, which is, again, shameful. The WWE needs to have, if you're going to put money down for this pay-per-view, you better have something good besides the main event. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, man, it is an hour, people. I went for a full hour for this podcast. Woo! Oh, I'm going to edit it down, basically make it to a 15-minute, but still, woo! 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's been fun, really fun. Anyway, thank you so much for listening live here on the Dukect Lounge. Yeah. And we will be here every Friday night. Remember, I got a lot of stuff to link to. I got a link to Three Black Guys podcast, the YouTube channel, everything. I got to look at everything now. I got to do it. I have a lot of stuff to link and a lot of interesting stuff to talk about too. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. This is Dukect here. Peace, love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.